Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and creatures of the night. You're tuned into the heart of the After Dark airwaves, the station where the macabre meets the metallic. This is Deep Cuts, the show where we slice into the minds of the most innovative and captivating artists of our time. I'm AJ, your mortician this evening. On the slab, we have a guest that's carved their name in cinema history and a name that will be here to stay forever. But that's not all we've got in store for you tonight. As a mortician by day, I've had my fair share of encounters with the eerie, the uncanny, the downright terrifying, and I can't wait to share them with you. Between breaks, I'll be serving up some trailers from the darkest corners of horror cinema, some known and unknown. We'll also be hearing from some of the masters themselves, interviews that delve into the abyss, revealing their inspirations and stories behind their art. So buckle up, turn up the volume, and keep a flashlight handy. It's going to be a wild ride. Remember, here in the crypts of Deep Cuts, we're not just about the music. We're about living and breathing the culture, the power, the rebellion, the camaraderie, and yes, the fear. So get ready, horror fans and metalheads alike, as we descend into the darkness and let the Deep Cuts begin.
Roses are red, violets are blue, but the iris is the flower that will mean the end of
After Suspiria, you will never again feel safe in the dark. Rated R.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, so
100%.
I'm glad that, I'm just happy to talk with you. So again, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, man.
So, all right, Sean, so your directorial debut is
Yes.
CRUST.
Yes.
Would you describe how this idea came about for this? How do you describe it? You described it as creature feature horror comedy.
Yes. Back like a decade ago, I was in a pitch meeting and they were talking about how expensive horror is and how it's expensive. And I go, yeah, but you're thinking about it wrong. You can do anything. You can, have like a thing set in a laundromat with the sock monster and just do that, and it's a one location and it'll be easy. And I never thought about it again. And then I kind of went through a heavy depression like in 2015, at the end of 2015. And when I came out of it in early 2016, I thought, I had a lot of emotions. I had a lot of feelings about it. And I said, people were coming up to me and saying, you should have a pet. You should have a pet. And I was like, at that time, I didn't have one. And I thought, God, I can't deal with a pet. I couldn't even deal with myself. But I thought it'd be fun to have a pet that, is avenging my enemies and taking care of all my problems. And then I thought, oh man, the movie about the sock monster would be a cool way to do that. And then I went to a shoot for Aaron Mento and his partner Charles Chudabala and Hunter Thomas, and they were doing a movie called Ugly Sweater Party. And I just saw how they were just kind of getting stuff done on a low budget, making stuff happen. And it was super fun. And I thought, God, you can do this. I could make this movie in a laundromat, one location and stuff. So it poured out of me. I called one of my good friends, Jim Wald, who we made each other laugh in a very unique way that would work for this, this kind of project. And it just kind of poured out of me, and he would take the pages and edit and, really be a good check on me. And so, it just, and then I tried for years to try to get it going. Phyllis and I actually were working together then to try to get it going. I had Aaron directing. And so it just went through many mutations. Then I decided to direct. And the more I did it, the more I realized that producers and, people with bigger things would be like, well, have you directed before? Have you done this? Have you done, and they're all about like, we want to get on the shelves of Walmart. And I don't know if you can do it in black and white and all this stuff. then luckily I paired up with some friends that were ready to do it low down and dirty like that, but then they moved to Australia, and then I circled back to it like this year with Felissa, and she had a really good team in place, and I had a really good following on social media because during the pandemic I really worked on TikTok, and it just made it, really, really great to converge all these things at one time and get the support that I never thought I would get, And I think also it was a time of people going, there's, we've, how many more superhero movies can we get? How many more, when Iger got back to Disney, I keep saying this, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's like, I truly believe, like, my heart sank when he sat there and goes, we're doing Toy Story 5. We're doing Frozen 3. And people just go, that's the big thing. Like, we're doing more Star Wars shows. We're doing more. And it's like, it's just milking ideas that are already been out there. And I think people just wanted to have fun, everything, everywhere, all at once. At the Oscars, people wanted to have fun and positivity and just enjoy stuff instead of your usual really heavy fare. And then Cocaine Bear, to me, was kind of a litmus test, thinking, okay, are people down for something like this? And they were. They had people wanted to go and just have fun with something silly. And I thought, oh, I'm at the right place at the right time. The writer strike is coming up, so that's slowing down. So just everything kind of converged together in a way that is super. It just feels right for this time. And once we started our Indiegogo, I just was shocked at the support that I got from everybody. It was very humbling and really great. So, and that's kind of the life of it. And just it came together when Danny Roebuck said he was going to join the cast. I already had Felissa in it. Ricky Dean Logan jumped on, and then, Alan had said he wanted to do it like 6 months ago, but it's easy to say that, hard to actually, fit it in your schedule and do everything. And he loved it. He said, he hasn't even finished reading it, but he just said, I will do anything to be in your movie. Don't worry, just announce it. And we had that article in Deadline saying he was going to join before he had ever read it. So his faith in me was so cool. Like, I just was so happy, and he had faith that I could write a funny script, and it's just really exciting. I have people who want to do a graphic novel already. There's people who still want to start a fan club. There's, just so many people who want to be involved and are behind it. And I'm very humbled. And, an investor said, look, it's two things. It's a good idea, but it's also you. People really appreciate your content and the way you think yourself and have a positivity about you, So it's been very humbling, and it just makes me feel like it's everything I've been working for a long time. Because when I was on social media, people go, you should be in more movies. You should be, you should have bigger parts. And instead of waiting on that, I decided to do it myself.
Yeah, to have your fan base come together and they passed the goal in like a week or something like that.
Yeah, the initial goal is never really the goal. You just want to have something that you attain so you can stay on Indiegogo. And I definitely wanted a higher goal when we started it. I knew what I actually needed to get it done. And we did have some investor money already, but the fact that we got it in a few days, the first goal, was crazy, But I did learn a lot, and they did say, it's really about the first 5 days to really get the momentum going, and we got the momentum going in 3. So it was very. It's really easy to say, hey, we support you, but to actually, pull out your wallet and say, no, we actually do believe in what you're doing, is extremely humbling,
Yeah, that is such a great feeling to see everyone actually come together and basically like fulfill your dream. And
yeah, 100%.
And what was it? Weren't the Soska sisters producing?
Oh, so there's a really, yeah. So back when I wrote it, I had just met them at a convention, and they're, very big on indie filmmaking. and I had met them. We had a great time together, and I thought, you know what, I'd like to send you this script. And they said, sure, sure. And I said, it's where I gave them the idea, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. It sounds fun. And Sylvia just wrote me this beautiful letter going, wow, this is like such a special film. It's so different. It's, the hard thing you'll have, and she was right, was putting this in a box for production companies. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, but what is it? Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? Is it both? Is it, and I experienced that as I got to bigger people. Like I said, they were trying to change it. They wanted to, shift things and everything like that. And I thought, it's not going to work. And so this was the only really way to do it. And to say, guys, I'm trying to give you a unique vision. So then when I was circling around to doing it, I just reached out to them and said, hey, do you mind if I use that quote just to pump it up? And they thought, no, and I thought, oh man, she goes, no, 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 no. We want to help. Like we want to shout this movie out. We want to tell all our fans about it. And it was great. It just helped, I said, can we put you down as associate producers? And they put their money where their mouth were and put out a really well-produced video about how much they loved it. And so it just added credibility in the horror world 100% to see that they were involved in it, so it was beyond generous on their part.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video on their Instagram, and it's like they're just so cool to do that for you,
100%. Like I never, like they're like, yeah, we'll shoot a video, and I'm sitting there thinking, they're gonna be sitting there in their iPhone in their living room, do something that nice and go to the studio and shoot something of such high quality. It was really, really cool.
Yeah,
I was super happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you starred in a bunch of comedies and horror, like like Three from Hell or Hatchet 3, or like, and it's like,
yeah,
are those like, are you gonna take your experiences from like what you've learned from all these jobs and put it all together for this?
Yeah, 100%. What I learned, and I think I learned a lot from Clint Eastwood when I did his movie. He just has a crew that he's used for 50 years, and he just trusts them implicitly. So the costumer, who usually like takes pictures and sends it to him, she was just having me change, and she goes, all right, they fit. And I go, fit? Like, don't you have to, take pictures? She goes, no. He gives me the color palette, and he trusts me. And that's what I said to my crew. I literally said, bring me your ideas, any ideas that you have. And the sound person said, we can really use the sounds of dryers and washers in different ways. During a love scene, you have like soft water going in a rinse cycle. And in a tense scene, you have it like an imbalanced blanket, and they're like going, do, 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 And I just loved that idea. And then someone else said, oh, well, you should have like a Rod Serling guy talk at the beginning and the end. And I went, no, that's okay. But I love the idea. I love that they're open. And so everybody's bringing their ideas. All the actors, I worked with Drew Barrymore, and they let me create my whole character for Never Been Kissed. Rob Zombie, we shot the first scene that I had 2 scenes in Three from Hell. And the first scene is me meeting Sherry Moon Zombie's character. And he goes, man, what you're doing is so much better than I had written. So we got to figure out something else for the second scene. And I thought, because it really didn't work for what I was doing. And he's like, so me, him, and Sherry sat down and wrote a whole scene.
Oh, wow.
Right then. That whole grape soda scene was us. We wrote that like 10 minutes before we shot it. So, and it's one of the memorable things. Like people always go, grape soda, when they know the Three from Hell. And I just see like that openness to having people give their ideas is really, really helpful, because you're never doing it alone. And it's evolving in a way, my vision that I thought in my head is completely changing. But instead of going, gripping tighter, I'm more open to go, wow, I want to take this ride and see where it goes. But I have enough of a good skeleton. I mean, squishy. I have enough of a good skeleton. This is my old crying cat. I have enough of of a skeleton and a good script that I feel confident that, people. I just want people to feel like they're part of the creative process, and I'm making a fun movie that people. I don't, want to make the movie that is global hit. I'm not making the movie that's on every Walmart, Target shelf. That's not what it's not for them. It's for the people who love cool, fun movies after being out with friends and having an adult gummy or an adult beer or beverage, or they're just chilling with friends and you love it. And then, it's where I came from. People Under the Stairs. That's a cult movie. Felissa Rose, my favorite cult movie that I've watched probably 35, 40 times, Sleepaway Camp. And the people who love it, love it. The people who don't get it or haven't seen it, it's okay. Like I don't need them. You know what I mean? It's not for them. And it's okay. It's for the people who have appreciated and supported my comedy, appreciated and supporting my horror, and have faith that I can be creative, and deliver something that's worthy of their time. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So the directors taught me that the more tightly you hold, the more you're going to spin out, because you're bringing in a group of people to, do your vision, and to not use the assets of those people, to me, is a disservice to those people. The best experiences I've ever had are people who said, Sean, you can, I'll pitch ideas on the script or try to, bring in better ideas to make the movie better. And that's kind of what I've been doing here, is just letting everybody bring their ideas. I'm the ultimate gatekeeper, but if I don't, like Clint Eastwood, just bring the people in who I think are good, then why spend the time getting a good cast? What's the point? You're just going to tell them what to do. And it's just such a narrow view. It's like being part of a big band, or an orchestra. You just want the best people to, that are excited to be there, that want to be there, that want to help you create something really fun. And me saying, I have no ego about this, please bring me your ideas, is, to me, what excites people to be part of something. You're valued, and yeah, I just want to work that way, in a more accepting, open, creative process, as opposed to and maybe that works for some people and maybe that works, but I know for me, I want everybody to feel valued and excited to be there. And the only way to do that is if you say to them, literally, you're seen, you're heard, and you're valued,
Yeah. And like you said before, making the specific type of movies like for the fans, for like your people that help you get there, is like always the best type of movies. Like you said, like you don't care if it's on Walmart shelves or anywhere. It's like if you make it for those people, they're gonna love it and cherish it forever.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make another fun, and review, and people who have read it and people who I've allowed to read it a little early they've labeled this. They're like, it's going to be an instant cult classic. And who knows? We don't know. Everybody can say that, right? For months people were saying Titanic's going to be the worst thing that ever hit the screen, and it's huge. And and the same with flipping it, saying, oh, this is going to be a huge hit, and it's not. You don't know. But the support I'm getting already, the support I'm getting for people who want to be involved in the sequel already, is crazy. So, I'm quite happy at the response. And I really, if I had a script that I didn't believe in, or I didn't think I had a really good cast, I'd be freaking out, because I'd be like, oh man, this is a lot of pressure. But I feel, I really think what I'm going to do will make people have a good time at the movie for a couple hours. But I can give people fun for a couple hours and get invested in some interesting new characters and a new flavor of, and it was Felissa Rose who came up with the great phrase, creature feature horror comedy, because that really makes it So, people don't freak out in black and white, and people don't, and when some people say, oh, black and white, and I go, really? Well, what about young? Tell me you don't like Young Frankenstein because it's in black and white. And people, yeah, you're right. Or you hate Clerks because it was in black and white. They don't care. It's something they get used to for 2 seconds and then they're in,
Yeah, totally. The same with like foreign movies, people are like, oh, like I don't want to read subtitles, and it's like the moment they're watching, they're like, it's like it just blends in with whatever you're watching.
Yeah, and then Squid Game comes out.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a worldwide hit, and people weren't going, yeah, but the subtitles are. No one's like, no one cares if it's a good, fun story. They don't care.
Exactly.
Just want a good story. They just want to be engaged, and that's all I'm trying to do is, make my actors and stuff bring so much more to make. I mean, it's getting better just by these people being involved already, and the notes they're giving me. That I really do believe people will be engaged because my actors are invested in their characters. When they're invested in their characters, then all the characters are invested, and it just makes a better project.
And you said that you always you're allowing like everyone to like collaborate on ideas. Since your like first draft of the script, has it changed much to almost like the shooting script that's happening soon?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's definitely evolved from the beginning when we had it. I had really good screenwriters, friends read it, and the rule with notes is either they say it and you go, oh my God, yes. Like you're totally right. I absolutely should do that. To, I don't really agree with that, but I'll see if more people say it. And if like 4, 5, 6, 7 people say it, you go, okay, this is definitely something I need to address. But I definitely had, she gets mad when I pick her up and then mad when I put her down. An old lady, very cranky. But I think it's I see now what were we talking about? We were talking about what were we saying?
The changing of like the script.
Oh yeah. So then, and they give me really good notes, and then just in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and go, oh man, I should do this, and all of a sudden, I call my writing partner and we just knock stuff out. So it has gotten better as I get to relax with it, which is, why people get afraid of the sophomore slump of movies or music, because the first album is always the culmination of years of work. And then the second one has to be knocked out in, 6 months. And can you bring that level? And that's why sequels sometimes are, it's really hard, but we've got a 2 and a 3 already kind of mapped out already based on the interest. And we've, always thought about where we want to go. And my writer friend and I are having so much fun coming up with that. But, it was nice to have the times where I'd put it down and then I'd reread it and, get it. So I think I've got a good launching pad for the first one. So the second and third will be just as good and fun. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy to see like a whole CRUST cinematic universe. No, like a whole.
And yeah, that's what slowly happens, hopefully. So, yeah, so it's very overwhelming. It's super humbling because there's a part of me that used to think, when's the shoe going to drop? When's, something bad going to really happen? That someone's going to pull out or the funny, something. And for this one, I just haven't had that. I'm like, I can see the premiere, I can see the trailer, I can see it maybe going to Slam Dance or at a horror festival and people having a great time. And I don't know why. And so I'm just kind of being the vessel for this crazy idea about mental health and gross socks.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see it. So, I guess I'll leave you with one final question, if that's all right.
Sure. Absolutely.
If there's anything you'd like to tell, like your fans or any like aspiring actors or filmmakers, what would that message be?
Well, I have a podcast called Acting Class Weekly with Sean Whalen, and I had it on for 2 years. Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro were the producers of it, and I did it at AfterBuzz TV with them. And it goes through a ton of all this stuff. But the main thing I would say is people say, "Well, I don't know if I can tell my parents that I want to go try to be an actor, or I don't know if I should leave my job and try to be an actor, or I don't know if I should, leave my job and try to do screenwriting, or I don't, you know what I mean?" And to me, I say, you don't have to. You just say, I'm going to be doing something for 2 years. 2 years. That's it. And you put everything into it for 2 years. Your money is not going to comforts or travel or anything. It's going towards your classes and studying and getting together with people and producing your own stuff. And you scale down your life situation. You get a roommate. Like I got a roommate, or I had roommates. I had 4 roommates in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. And I know this sounds like in my day, but I did. I walked a mile and a half to my job. I took a bus to the Groundling Theater. I've been doing, I did all those things because all my money went to classes, and I waited tables and I worked my way up. And what I would say is then you get one of those jobs, a job that's flexible so you can audition, but you put everything into it for 2 years. Then if there you're either discovering I don't like the lifestyle, I do like the lifestyle, but I don't feel like I'm getting it. I don't see any growth. So for me, I wasn't working after 2 years, but I did get in the Groundling Theater and I got into their company, their Sunday show company. So there was a progression. So I thought, okay, I can give it another couple years. And then after that couple years, I'd gotten my first commercial and my SAG card, and so it was moving in the right direction. And even if it's not moving in the right direction, people go, but you know what? I feel really good. I feel like I can give this another 2 years. But if you do it and you go, I don't like the lifestyle and nothing's happening that makes me happy and I don't feel like it, then you go home or you stop and do something else. And you can never sit there and say, I didn't try. When you're 80 on your, rocking chair, you're not going to go, God, I wish. Because I know people who said that to me, 100%. They're like, I know people who came up to me, they were in theater with me in high school, and they said, I screwed up, man. I studied it. And then when it was time to put my money where my mouth was and go to New York and try to do it, they didn't do it. And they're completely regretful. And I'm so glad I did it because I never would have known. Fear, look, that's what I mean. And that's any job. You can try anything for 2 years. 2 years isn't that long. And where I learned that was a book about Kirk Douglas. And it's his book, The Ragman's Son. He's talking about his life. And he says, yeah, but then I had consumption and it really took a toll on me for 3 years. Then, he's writing this when he's 80. But he's going, yeah, I was down and out for like 3 years. Then after, 3 years, he was sick. And you just kind of go, oh, well, because when you live the long life, 3 years isn't a long time, And so anything for 2 years, anyone can try it. That's any profession, any risk-taking profession. You want to open a cupcake shop. You want to, you know what I mean? You try anything for a couple years, and then you just evaluate if it's working for you or not for all the different reasons. So that's my advice. Don't be afraid to say, well, I don't want to give up my career. You're not. You're just taking 2 years to try something, and you can go back to your profession, or you can, get the different job, but you go, you know what? I tried it. And I know people who did that, and they did it for a while. They went to Broadway, they tried, and they ended up meeting new people and liking the people they met, and they turned out to be like lawyers. But they have no regret because that brought them to different, and now they're entertainment lawyers. They're still in the business, but a different way. So you can do anything for 2 years. That's my advice.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sean.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And and just a strange thing, we have been called, we're labeled, I forget what it is on Indiegogo, a trending. And so you can still contribute. So if you go to Indiegogo.com, put in CRUST, you can still get a special thanks. You can get your name on it. there's still some perks up there that you can take part in. So, help out independent filmmaking if you can. And if you can't, it's fine. I know I'm not, creating a cure for every disease in the world. I appreciate you even looking at the page so you get an idea of what it is. So
you're just creating a cure just for a few hours.
Yeah, exactly. If I can for a few hours, then I will.
So everyone listening, go to Indiegogo. CRUST will be on there, and contribute whatever you can.
Yep. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Have a good day.
You too.